welcome back to another Tween Crafternoon here at the Scott County Public Library. As usual, I am Miss Kelly, and today, as part of Tree Week that we are celebrating here at the library in conjunction with the city of Georgetown, I will be showing you how to make, well, basically they're macrame leaves. So you just need yarn. And I'll show you how to put them together as well. So if you picked up one of these kits at the library, available at the children's desk, you got 3 different colored yarns and a wooden dowel. They actually started out as skewers, and I cut the pointy bit off and sanded it down, so hopefully no splinters will occur in this project. But, you know, it is a wooden stick, so be careful. If you want to get a little more artsy with it, you can go find a stick outside. Please don't cut a branch off a tree. That defeats the point of Tree Week. Yeah, so we are going to do the little switcheroo here with the camera view, and I'll be back in a second. You can see my hands again, and I will show you how to make yarn leaves. All right, so here we are. I am going to start with, you guessed it, yarn. Now, we are going to want to double it up like so, and you just kind of have to guess how long you want your leaf to be. So I'm gonna do it that long. I think that'll work. So I'm gonna grab my scissors again. If you grabbed one of the kits, this is the only thing you need to provide yourself. I'm gonna snip that there. Oh, these scissors are not great, or this yarn is not great. Maybe both. All right, so we've got this. Now we're going to take it, and I am going to tie a knot in the end here. This is going to be the top of our leaf. Oof. All right, so my loop's kind of big, but that's okay. All right, and then this. So again, top of the leaf. This is going to be the bottom of the leaf. Now, next step is to take more of our yarn, and you are going to, the easiest way to estimate how long you want, right now this looks like beginnings of an unusual yarn doll. That's not what we're doing. The best way to estimate how much yarn you need for the actual parts of the leaf, not just like the inner stem, is to lay it across and see, do I want it to be a very skinny leaf? Do I only want it to go out this far? Or do I want it to go out a little farther? And you do want to go ahead and estimate just a little bit bigger, just a little bit, because you are going to trim it down to the correct shape in the end. So I'm going to go about here, and then I'm going to measure my yarn against the next piece and cut a couple. I think I'll cut about 5 right now. You're going to want way more than that in the long run. That's okay. This is a good start. 2. Ooh, yeah, these scissors are not great. Okay. 1, 2, 3. This is string number 4. Oh dear. And I need a 5th string. Okay, so I'm gonna set the rest of my yarn aside so I don't get it all tangled up, and I'm going to set these up in the corner so that I have easy access, but they're not in my way. Now again, you are going to fold these little strips in half, like such. Whoop, lost it. Like such. Ignore the weird little fuzzy bit that's hanging off. This is the main part of it. So you've got this. Now, you're going to want to put it under your string, and you are going to create another knot. And you are going to put your yarn through the loop you just made. Hold your main portion tight, pull up to the knot, and tighten. And now we've started our leaf. So you are going to continue doing that back and forth down this entire stretch, or until you get to the point where you're like, yeah, my leaf's big enough. So I'm going to put this under the opposite way so that my little loop is on this side. And again, I'm gonna go and tuck that in so it looks like this. I'm gonna pull it up to the end there, to the previous knot, and I'm gonna pull it real tight and push it up. All right, and I'll do that a couple more times as an example. So, back and forth, the loop's gonna go on this side, and we're gonna put the yarn through there, pull it up, pull tight, and you can kind of smush your yarn knots up as you go. Let's do these other two. We made 5 strings, so let's go ahead and do that. Whoop. That's not how you do that. Pull those over top, put them through to make a loop, and pull up and tight. And let's do this last little one that we cut. We'll go from there. Whoop. All right, so right now it kind of looks like a freaky bug, I guess you could say. But that's okay. This is what we want it to start looking like. Again, I said this is going to be the top of the leaf, and so your leaf needs to kind of flow down this way. So if your strings get shorter as you go down and you're cutting them, that's totally fine, unless you want your leaf to be way bigger at the bottom, but that would be unorthodox. Not impossible, but unusual. So I'm going to set aside this little weird yarn guy that I made and pull up the one that I've got prepped and ready to trim. So I made this guy last night. Look at him. He's nice and ready to go. He's very fluffy. There are many strings on this guy. And just to show you, this side is the side I decided to be the front. But the other side looks pretty cool too. So you could use that as well. All the knots are tied there. All right. So I'm going, this is not necessary, but I am going to go ahead and knot at the bottom. And I'm going to do it again because that actually made it really tiny. I don't want all of my leafy bits falling off. That would be really upsetting after all this work and your leafy bits fall off. How sad. Alright, so got that tied nice and good. Alright, now comes honestly the tricky part. Especially with these scissors, this could be fun. We want to try and shape this. Shape this into a leaf. Ignore the overhead phone call that just came through. It's okay. So I've got my one little leaf here. This yarn is kind of weird, which I didn't know as I was making this, so it's a little sparse, but that's okay. I quite like it. It's definitely leaf-like. I don't know. I think it's on that side. Yeah. So I kind of cut into it here on purpose. It was not an accident. Because a lot of leaves, when they fall, they have little broken bits. And so I decided I wanted to just add a little broken bit in there. So that part of my leaf, it fell off. That was just a design decision I made. Set that aside. And let's see what we can do with these scissors to turn this little fluffy monster guy into a leaf. So I'm gonna work downwards, I think. Oh, maybe. Ooh, scissors. Working better on this yarn than they did on the red yarn, but still not great. Ooh, that's not bad. Trim them up a little. Come on. All right. I'm not mad at that. Let's flip it over and see if we can sort sort of make it the same on this side. It does not have to be perfect because not all leaves are symmetrical. So it's okay if ours are not. Ooh. Okay. Come on. You can do it, scissors. You can do it. I may need to trim him up some more later with some better scissors. But, floof. For now, I would say that's a fairly good approximation of a leaf with yarn, yeah? Alright. So, that is how you make a leaf out of yarn. And if you want to get extra crafty, ooh, yeah, I made these strings way too long, and so now I have some waste, which is not great. I'm sure I can find something to do with yarn, even if these are little tiny bits. There's got to be something I can do. Let me know if you can think of something to do with the tiny yarn that's left over after you trim your leaf. But we are going to turn this into a little wall hanging here. Get that centered best I can. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So to do so, I am going to attach my leaves to a piece of brown string because sticks are brown. That's my reasoning. That's what I'm going with. All right. So we're gonna loop it through the top of the leaf there. Get centered. And I will trim that later because, again, scissors, these are not great. All right, and I'm going to cut it about here. And I'm going to tie it around my wooden dowel. If I can get my fingers to work. All right, so right now it hangs about here. If I need to fix that, I can change it. But I'm going to continue that. Currently, I've only got my yellow and my orange leaves done. Come on, scissors. My goodness. Okay. Let's see. If you have trouble with your yarn getting it through any of your loops, because sometimes that happens, the yarn likes to separate, I suggest putting a tiny bit of tape around the yarn that you were threading through. So like if I had put a little piece of tape around this edge of the yarn, that would make it much easier to thread it through this loop. I didn't have too much trouble, but if you end up having trouble with yours, that is a way to solve it. And then I am going, again, to tie this around here. Alright, and so it will hang. Right now it is very heavy on the orange end because there's way more thread, and also this is way heavier. So whenever I get my third leaf done, I'll need to make sure I kind of put it closer to this side and maybe hang it. We'll have to play with the string length to hang it, to make it lay even. And lastly, I am going to attach, I have this twine. It started out as this really, really thick stuff, but then I pulled it apart from the end. I unwound it after I cut it down to length and ended up with 2 chunks of 2 twists, as opposed to very twisty 4. I don't know, I may not actually use, I think I'll only use the 1. So let's peel it apart again. Whew. Some more fuzzy bits just went up my nose. Twist. Haha. Alright, so now I've got a much thinner string, which I think will look better. And I will just tie that onto the ends. And oop, well, I tied that knot to nothing. Let's try that again. Trim that knot off. Whew. All right, so I've got my big long string. I can hang it off of something. And then I've got my leaves hanging down. And I'll have to make sure that it actually stays nice and even and not lopsided. But that is how you make a little yarn leaf hanging for your wall. So again, stop by the library to come pick up one of these kits. They will be available at the Children's Information Desk if they are not gone. I don't expect them to be, but it is a possibility. And I will see you next week for some spooky science for Halloween time. But I will see you all then. Bye, guys!